Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Combat Corner Cream TM1 competition boxing gloves. So check it out. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the Combat Corner Cream TM1 competition boxing gloves. I got mine in the black colorway, 10 ounces. It is a lace-up only model because it is a competition / pro fight glove. You can also get it 8 ounces with one additional colorway in white. It's made of full genuine cowhide leather on the exterior of the glove with a red polyester satin liner on the inside of the hand compartment, and utilizes a combination of high density foam as well as horsehair over the knuckles that I'd say is medium to soft in firmness. And the gloves are Mexican inspired and are manufactured in Thailand. Now, from a sizing standpoint and profile, comparing this to other 10-ounce gloves, I'd say that these are medium to compact in stature. I'd say these are probably comparable to Grant Fight gloves in terms of both the width and the height of the glove, size for size or weight for weight. So a pair of 10-ounce Grants are pretty comparable to this, and that really goes for the vast majority of fight gloves. They're all pretty compact when it comes to that, and this is no exception. The leather on here is very high quality, which I would not expect anything less from a Thai-made glove. It does have more of a satin finish to it, with a nice texture to the grain of the leather. You do have the Combat Corner Cream logo with the C and kind of this crisscross pin pattern on the back of the glove. You also have the flat wrist cuff or the flat wrist support on the back of the wrist that says Cream Manufacturing right there down at the bottom. All the piping on here is black, so this is pretty much a blacked out glove outside of the contrasting white color for the logos. Rotating me around, the inside has your standard polyester satin liner in that nice bright red. You also have the cream tag at the very bottom that says made in Thailand, cowhide leather on the inside of that tag. The laces on here, I'd say, are medium in length. They're not super long, nor are they too short. I do wish that these laces were a little bit longer to get myself a couple more wraps around the wrist. You can get like 1 or 2 revolutions depending on how tight you cinch up the laces. But I do wish they were just a little bit longer. I'd say that the back of the wrist support is about 1 inch of soft density foam padding and about maybe 1/4 of an inch of soft density foam padding on the inside of the wrist. Now keep in mind, these are fight gloves, so the whole premise behind these is to use these in a sanctioned bout or in a professional fight. So these are not going to be obviously comparable to like a bag glove where you're looking for the most support and protection, right? So anytime it comes to 8 or 10 ounce fight gloves, there's not going to be much of an emphasis when it comes to the actual padding around the wrist. And obviously the gloves have to be on point with weight as well, which we'll touch on here in a second. So you have that. You also have number 1, which is written vertically on the inner portion, the thumb side of the glove. Again, black piping throughout. It does have the weight 10 right here on the outside portion of the palm. You do have a nice large grip bar that has a good amount of firmness to it, so that feels really good. It does say cream and white, and kind of that cursive script coming down on the tip of the finger compartment. And you do also have a leather attached thumb right where it needs to be at, right here, so it doesn't allow the tip of the thumb to flare out. Quality wise, these gloves are great. I mean, anytime I've had a Thai glove, I don't think I can remember a time where I actually had, at least from a workmanship and a craftsmanship standpoint, a Thai glove that wasn't really good quality. I also have said that Thai-made gloves are probably some of the best bang for buck gloves out there. To me, quality wise, they're very comparable to any of the other, kind of boutique brands when it comes to boxing glove manufacturing, whether it's gloves that are made in Japan like Winnings, or even gloves made in Mexico like Coleto Reyes. I feel like Thai-made gloves definitely hold their own compared to those other high-end brands, in my opinion. And I think because they price their gloves so well, people oftentimes kind of temper their expectations in a little bit, like, or their kind of their view of what Thai gloves are when it comes to manufacturing, and they definitely are up there when it comes to that. But everything on the glove, I couldn't find really any flaws in terms of the actual manufacturing of the glove. Stitching on the glove looks pretty much impeccable throughout the entire edge and side of the glove. Leather on here is great. I'd say the leather on here definitely has more of a kind of a rugged feel to it. It's a very rugged, it doesn't feel like soft, by that I mean it doesn't feel like a very like soft, pliable type leather. It has more of like a rugged, rigid feel to the leather itself. But the stitching on here all looks really great. You can see it on the palm side. All looks really clean, done very nicely, all symmetrical. The liner on the inside, no exposed foam, no issues on the inside of the actual hand compartment. So in terms of the stitching and the quality on both gloves, everything is done really well. And just kind of letting the gloves speak for themselves so you guys can see it. The attached thumb, the back of the glove, back of the wrist support. Just very well done. Weight wise, the gloves were both 9.6 ounces. So in terms of weight, they are exactly the same weight as each other, 0.4 ounces under their advertised weight of 10 ounces. And again, I don't know what the actual variance is when it comes to a glove being on point with weight if it's being used in a sanctioned fight. I'm sure there's probably a little bit of give to that, you know, maybe plus or minus a certain amount. Obviously, being exactly on point with weight would be optimal, right? 10 ounce glove. But I'm pretty sure that there is a little bit of a up or down or plus or minus that they allow when it comes to these gloves. But it's great to see that both gloves are exactly on point with weight with each other. In terms of the actual balance, you can see the glove is pretty well balanced, which is a little bit surprising because I feel like the wrist support padding is a little bit more on the softer side. But I think they load the padding on the back of the hand pretty well, evenly. So it does give some structure to the glove where it doesn't sag, regardless if I grab the bottom cuff or the hand compartment area. It's pretty well balanced on both gloves. So you can see that there, it doesn't have that flop. Putting the gloves next to each other just for symmetry, I'd say the gloves are pretty symmetrical, having them next to each other, both in terms of height and width. So let me flip them around so you guys can see it on the palm side as well. Logos line up properly. Nothing is off there. Stitching looks really good. The actual thickness of the padding is maybe about an inch to an inch and a half in thickness. So you can see the gloves look good right there. As well as on the thumb side. Again, position of the thumb is pretty much identical for both gloves. So overall, the quality on these gloves are definitely top notch, and I feel like they've done a really good job with both the manufacturing and as well as the quality control. And anytime you see gloves that are exactly on point with weight, that tells me that they're actually weighing the gloves, because there's no way, in my opinion, for you to get these two gloves to be exactly on point with weight without you putting it on the scale and making minor adjustments before you ship these gloves out. In my opinion, there's really no way to know that until you weigh them. So, you know, big ups to the Combat Corner for doing that. Comfort wise, sliding your hand into the glove, that polyester satin liner feels really good. One thing you notice is it does have a little bit more of kind of like a rugged liner. So that satin liner kind of comes up into the back of the hand. And once you get into the finger compartment, it just has a little bit more of a rugged, rough kind of feel in this area. And it's not uncomfortable. It just feels a little more on like a canvas feel to it in this section of the glove, which is kind of weird because it's the same liner they use throughout the entire interior of the hand compartment. But for whatever reason, it feels like it has more of a canvas feel. And maybe there's a backing that they use on the opposite side of the satin liner that faces towards the foam that gives it that texture. That's the only thing I can think of. And it's not uncomfortable, it's just a change in how it feels from this portion of the interior of the liner towards the hand compartment area. And maybe they do that in terms of just durability to absorb, so it doesn't absorb sweat and it wicks away moisture better and it just stays more durable. One thing that you also keep in mind with a lot of Thai gloves is that based on the region where the gloves are made, Thailand is a very hot and humid climate. Anywhere in the southeast or in the Pacific, are you talking about Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines? Obviously, all those countries in the South Pacific are going to have much more humid climate. So you're talking about more heat and a lot more moisture. So you combine that together with people that are training every day, all day. A lot of the Muay Thai fighters, I mean, they're training for hours on end in these gloves. So there's going to have to be a level of durability. And not to say that other gloves don't do that, but it's almost like there's an added level of awareness to know that, hey, this glove is going to be dealing with a lot more moisture compared to people that are using it here in the United States, like in California or wherever. Obviously, states like Texas or Florida, you're going to get more moisture there. But areas like Arizona, Phoenix, it gets hot, but it's not a very humid place. Anywhere else in this country, you're not going to get a lot of humidity typically. So that's something to keep in mind in terms of that rugged feeling. But the liner feels really good. Thumb positioning is really good as well. I had no issues with the actual thumb. I like the fact that they give you a good amount of room at the base, the fat portion of the thumb, to where it doesn't feel like I'm cutting off my circulation at the base of my thumb. The positioning feels great as well. It's nice and pulled in. You have about 1 inch of firm density foam padding on the back of the thumb for support and protection. And when I make a fist, I don't feel like the tips pull down to where I jam my thumb at the tip of the glove. The finger compartment feels good as well. I'd say that it's medium in depth. It's not a super deep finger compartment, nor is it too shallow. There is a piece of felt at the very base of the finger compartment that acts like a secondary grip bar that covers the stitching. So that feels very luxurious as well. So not only do you have your standard grip bar right here, but you also have a piece of felt liner on the inside of the finger compartment that acts for both comfort as well as kind of like a secondary grip bar that covers the stitching. So that feels really good. The gloves are well broken in when you first get them. They use high density foam, but as well as horsehair. So when you first get the gloves, you can open and close your hands with relative ease to be able to catch and parry shots. So that feels really good as well. And overall, the inside of the hand compartment feels really good. There's no areas in this glove that I feel that offer any type of discomfort, any kind of pain areas, pain points, and overall feels really good. And once the gloves are laced up, it feels really good once it's locked in. Wrist support feels good as well once you have it laced up. Protection and performance-wise, this is a cool glove in the fact that it utilizes horsehair. So for those of you that think about horsehair, I know you usually go with the whole puncher's glove, and that's typically with a lot of Mexican gloves, right? And that's what I feel Combat Corner was trying to do, is they're kind of getting that Mexican feel. But they also utilize this high density foam padding, which almost feels kind of like an EVA sort of, that is on the inside of the glove. And there's certain companies, I know Rival does like their HDEF glove, their Guerreros, that uses a laminated piece of EVA on the inside. And I feel this is kind of similar to the HDEFs. So you have the horsehair that allows you to really transmit that power and give you kind of that softer feel and that feedback. We also have that higher density foam padding that is on the impact surface. So you can transmit that power really well. That gives you that soft feel with the horsehair. But then you also have that high density foam padding. I'll just say that it's probably EVA. That really does a good job of giving you protection as well. So I love the consistency of the foam padding they use in here. Obviously the combination with the horsehair, but kind of gives you the best of both worlds, especially for a fight glove that's smaller in weight, that's less protective. So for me, I'm not a pro fighter, so I can't comment on how this would perform in an actual bout when it comes to a professional fight. But I can say if you're going to use these gloves for hitting the mitts and doing bag work with these, compared to some of the other softer fight gloves that are not as protective, these do really well. So using these for the mitts is where, in my opinion, is really where they shine. And you can use this for heavy bag work. Do keep in mind, they're not going to last as long as gloves that are designed for bag work, right? If you have a pair of bag gloves that are extremely stiff with multi-density foam paddings or D3O gloves or whatever, gel padded gloves, those obviously are designed for that, so they're going to last a lot longer. So keep that in mind. And this is still a horsehair glove at the base of it, so you're obviously, you can't compare those two. But for a fight glove that utilizes horsehair and that high density foam, I think they do a really good job for what they are if you're using these just for training. So hitting the mitts would be the best, and then doing bag work, hitting the double line bag, whatever it may, Cobra bag work, these gloves work really well. You have this really nice flat punch surface, so it really forms to whatever you're punching against because of that horsehair, and that high density foam feels great as well. So I love the way these feels, especially for a fight glove. Cost wise, these gloves are $350. Now that's kind of the pain point for me when it comes to these gloves. Mainly because they're $350, which is a lot of money to pay for gloves regardless of what they are. But one thing I did notice is that these gloves are $100 more than their training gloves, their TJ1s, which are $250. Why? I'm not sure why they're more, because both gloves, both models are made in Thailand. Both gloves are genuine leather. Maybe the horsehair is more expensive to source out, I don't know, but it's $100 more for their fight gloves at $350, which is going to be really hard to justify for a fight glove, just because there's so much other choices out there. At the $250 price point, sure, I think that would be fair to ask. The other thing I bring up is the fact that there's a lot of other Thai brands out there, Fairtex, Yokkao, Windy, whatever it may be. There's a lot of other Thai brands that do have fight gloves as well that offer great bang for a buck. Now, obviously, they're not going to have the exact same model as Combat Corner has with these creams, but they'll have something comparable and at a much more affordable price point. So that's where kind of the issue runs in with the $350 price point, which is pretty high for this glove. You know, I can see the fact that it is a high-end quality glove with it, the leather, the craftsmanship on here is great, but I feel like the price point is still a little bit high at $350. Maybe at $250, I would be like, okay, I could see that that's definitely comparable to other brands out there. Based on the quality, the build, how the glove performs, that would be fair. But $350 to me is just a little high. And again, the fact that their TJ1s are $250, a lot of people that are not going to get these gloves for, you know, a sanctioned fight or a pro fight, they would rather just spend the money on the TJ1s and save themselves $100 than spend $350 for these, in my opinion. Still a really good glove, solid glove, but just a little overpriced in my opinion. But overall, I'm satisfied with these gloves. If you guys have any questions or comments, put them down below. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Combat Corner Cream TM1 boxing gloves. I'll see you guys later. Peace.